From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for tuning in. Money TV is a program all about money and what makes it happen. Well, right about this time of year, millions of tax-paying Americans are visiting their tax preparation professionals, or they're taking on the task themselves. It's tax season, and what better time to take a look at some of the ways our money is spent by the government. Now, while the media worries about the cost of a border wall, they fail to report on a few items that are definitely more peculiar. According to Oklahoma Senator James Langford, the National Endowment for the Arts spent $30,000 on a production of Doggy Hamlet. It's basically the Shakespearean classic with a cast made up of dogs. To bark or not to bark, that is the question. The Department of Transportation awarded $1 billion to expand the city of San Diego's trolley by 10.9 miles, which is about $100 million per mile. Now, the same cost could have been used to build as much as 250 miles of four-lane highways, and anyone who's ever driven in Southern California traffic would know immediately which is needed more. Washington, D.C. has spent more than $200 million for a streetcar along 2.5 miles of the city, which is already served by the bus system. The National Endowment for the Humanities gave $75,000 to a university to use 3D technology to scan up to 15 puppets into a system which will enable viewers to control puppet functions and facial expressions on a desktop computer or virtual reality device. 75 grand to scan 15 puppets. The National Eye Institute, National Science Foundation, well, they spent $300,000 to conclude that girls play with Barbie dolls more than boys and could better pick out the faces of Barbie dolls from a lineup of assorted dolls. $300,000 to play with dolls. And what are we supposed to do with this information? But none of these compares with this. The National Science Foundation and Department of Defense's Office of Naval Research spent $460,000 so that computers could binge watch 600 hours of TV shows and 400 hours of online videos, all to see if an algorithm could be built to predict which characters would hug, kiss, shake hands, or exchange a high five. $460,000 to turn a computer into a couch potato. And it's anyone's guess why we're $20 trillion in debt. Now, here's something that won't put you in debt. It's our toll-free number, good from anywhere in the world you're watching a television program, 888-259-4449. That's to get free information about our featured guests. When you do call, also be asked to add it to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It's free, as is a toll-free call, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Well, our first guest this week is joining us on the phone, Mr. Dave Massey. Dave's the CEO of Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation. Their stock symbol is SIRC. How's the busiest man in showbiz, Dave?
Doing great, Don. Thanks.
Well, you guys had a press release this week, and that's what I'm referring to. It seems like for the first time in the company's history, in the month of January, which is normally a slower month in the solar and roofing business, you folks have surpassed $1 million in revenue for the first time. Tell us about that.
You know, obviously, all of us are very excited about it. I have to give all the credit to Dave Tavreese, the new president. He's implemented some new marketing that's just now really getting started, so we haven't even seen the full effects of it. He brought in a new sales guy, has a couple more coming in. So this is truly just the tip of the iceberg, and I can't express to you how excited we are about it.
Well, you know, it's interesting. In that press release, Dave was quoted as saying that the new marketing and sales efforts have really kicked in. And you said, which I thought was really interesting, there's a little bit of swagger running around your headquarters right now.
Sales guys swagger anyway. But when they're knocking down deals in the slow time of year, I think you swagger a little more. And if you do the math, Don, you know, the $1 million mark is about 3 times the normal sales that we've done. The excitement comes if you look ahead and things start kicking in, and we do the math over the course of the year. If we do 3 times revenue, I think everyone would agree it would be a great year for us.
Well, we had a conversation before going on the air where you said that, quite frankly, February was looking even better than January, and January for you was a record month.
Yep. Dave and I meet all the time. We set sales goals. We're looking at 10 to 15% growth every single month. And things change after tax time. April 15th is time where people know what they're paying in taxes. They get more serious about home improvements, and I think that we can raise that number after April 15th.
Well, one of the reasons we're speaking to you on the phone, because you were originally scheduled to be here in studio with us, is you're actually in your car on your way to another meeting for another presentation.
I got to be in Fallbrook at 11 o'clock on my way, and we're going to raise the sales revenue at 11 o'clock.
Well, once again, the company Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation and stock symbols SIRC. I just want to congratulate you, Dave, on those great numbers. Looking forward to more updates from you in the future.
Hey, Don, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Take care. And I'm joined in studio now by two executives with Single Point Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. To my far left is Mr. Will Ralston. He's the president of the company. Will, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having us on, Don.
And of course, the CEO, Greg Lambrick. Always a pleasure, Greg.
Hey, thanks, Don.
The last time we had you guys here in Los Angeles, we were at the cannabis dispensary. We did the program on location, but a lot has happened with your company since then. Why don't you fill us in?
Well, I tell you what. So we did a shoot with Kevin Harrington, and you know, he's with Shark Tank, and you know. You know him, I know that for sure. But anyway, we've got the shoot done. We're editing now, and we're very excited about doing a national TV ad, which is going to show people how to download coins to their mobile wallet. So that's one of the exciting things that we're working on right now.
Well, that's kind of a first, Greg, because, you know, we're hearing about Bitcoin. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain. This is the biggest subject in the markets right now, but no one's actually shown people how to do it, and you're the first.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we were thinking, is that we were going to spend the time and energy and money to do a national TV ad, which is not cheap, to be the first mover, so we would get as many customers to download you know, coins to their phone. And at that point, we want to go to retailers, including particular cannabis stores, and say, hey, you know, we have 5 million, 10 million, 50 million customers that have downloaded our app to their phone, and this is why you should accept it.
Well, Will, when last time you were in town, we actually did a demonstration at the cannabis dispensary of a purchase of cannabis using your app. And now, is the app basically almost ready to be released to the public, or has it already been released to the public?
Yeah, so it's getting very close. We are tying up a lot of loose ends right now, and actually part of us being out here in California is doing just that. We're working with a couple people out here to create that last mile and really tie it all together so that we have a full end-to-end experience where a consumer can actually acquire coins, put them in their wallet that we've developed, and then actually go to the merchant, and the merchant can easily accept them. So it's a full circle.
Well, it's kind of interesting because this is really a natural evolution for your company, Greg, as you were a mobile payments company to begin with, and you've ventured off into this space, which is obviously in California a very lucrative space.
Yeah, and you know, as you know, and the shareholders know, we are you know, actively doing a lot of acquisition and funding of a lot of cannabis companies, but the app that we're doing for the coins is we're doing this all in-house. That's our in-house strategy. That's who we are. That's what we do. We're you know, mobile payments or merchant processor company. So it's perfect for us to develop this product and be the first one out there to do it.
Well, you know, 3 weeks ago, Jeff Sessions woke up, turned to his wife and said, watch me do this to cannabis stocks this week. And he made a few comments that affected cannabis stocks. Bitcoin has been extraordinarily volatile the last 60 days. It's affected companies that are involved in Bitcoin. What's your take on how it's affected your company?
Well, you know, we're in both of those verticals, so I think it has affected our company. But the good news is it's going to affect us in a positive way in a short time as well.
Well, it's kind of interesting because as a public company, you'd like a company to be tied to the commodity that you're dealing with. And if the commodity goes up, your stock price goes up appreciably. You can look at the aircraft industry. When the aircraft industry has a boom, so to speak, Boeing stocks go up. When the oil business has a boom and prices go up, Exxon stocks go up. So it's actually kind of a good position to be in.
Yeah, well, it's kind of reassuring to know that we've gotten to the level where we can look at something like this and figure out what's going on with the stock.
Well, we've always said, guys, whenever you guys are in California to visit us here on Money TV, something's going on. Someone asks you, what's going on?
Well, today we're out here actually visiting a land opportunity in the cannabis industry. So we'll be out working on negotiating that deal, taking a look at the facilities, and also wrapping up potentially the LOI that we announced last week to acquire a company called Bitcoin Beyond. So we'll be meeting with them as well. So those are our two meetings that we're out here for this week, and we're hoping to finish some negotiations.
So from the land perspective, are we talking about growing the product actually? Is that the direction you headed in?
Yeah, so this land opportunity, we would actually be acquiring the land that's licensed to grow cannabis, and then we would have licensed cannabis businesses come in and grow on that land.
So you would be functioning basically as a landlord, so to speak. You're still not
management
touching
company,
the plant.
landlord.
Exactly, and that's our strategy. In fact, just to expand upon that, we're looking at 4 deals right now. One's in California, one's in Nevada, Las Vegas, and Colorado, and all of them are owning the land, which gets us into the cannabis business, but we're still not touching the plant.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
So when you're meeting with these landowners, that's what basically you're talking about. You're going to bring on almost like a cannabis mall, as it were, on that land that you'd be acquiring, and you're acting simply as a landlord.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's perfect for what we're trying to do.
And then you hope that all of these guys be using your app, of course.
Well, in all the other products that we have, whether it's app or solar, we're going to, have an in with the companies that we've funded or acquired. Quite frankly, some of the valuations of these growers are so high. Certainly, if they wanted to sell in the next year or two, we would be a part of that sale.
Single Point Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. Guys, exciting. Thanks so much.
Thank you, and go sing.
Thanks, Don.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
a good investment forum.
And I kept searching.
and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
thank you.
Have you heard the news? There's only one flat-fee news distribution network on the market. It's called AccessWire, and it's exclusively from Issuer Direct. Any day, anytime, the AccessWire News Network can deliver your press release to more than 1,500 media outlets in 98 countries. AccessWire also delivers real-time engagement analytics. You will learn who read and shared your press release and more. Best news of all, getting started is easy. Visit accesswire.com and extend your company's news reach today.
We're back. Thanks for staying with us. I'm joined on the phone now by Don Smith. Don is Executive Vice President of Smart Cannabis Corporation. SCNA is their stock symbol. Don, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Don. Glad to be here with you.
We're also still joined in studio by Will Ralston, who's the President of Single Point Incorporated, SING. Will, you're still here.
Thanks for having me back on, Don.
Just a minute ago, right?
Yep.
Now, you guys are involved in a joint venture. Don, why don't you tell us about your end of it?
Well, our end of this is very exciting. We have found a company that we believe also does what they say in the marketplace, and it's been great working with Will and Greg. Our efforts involve integrating cyber currency transactions and the gathering of historical data into both our Smart app, which was recently released in the App Store and is presently up and running in a number of these automated greenhouses, and then we're collaborating here in 2018 as our software engineering teams build out a track and trace system that's really going to be unlike anything else out there on the market.
Well, this is kind of interesting, guys, because I think this is the first for MoneyTV in our 22-year history. You guys actually met in the green room, and that was where this deal began.
Yeah, well, it was fantastic, and since then we've had the pleasure of working with Smart Cannabis and speaking with Don and his team multiple times, and we've really enjoyed it. The very, very bright, and we believe is just going to be a successful relationship going forward here in 2018.
Now, they have the same issue that dispensaries have. They can't use the banking system, so you're looking at integrating your app with their business model so that they can basically sell to their customers and accept Bitcoin.
Correct. We want to implement our Bitcoin payment solution. We've actually had both of our tech teams working together to define exactly what that's going to take. So they believe that they could have that wrapped up pretty quick, which would allow them to start making and settling transactions quickly between the companies using their current Smart Cannabis product.
Well, now, Don, of course, this would give you a tremendous advantage over your competitors, correct?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, it separates us from a typical company that's just building greenhouses, which we don't consider ourselves just a typical greenhouse company anyway. We've expanded into software, and the way to look at that, Don, is that we're building tools and partnering with companies so that we have every automation and control feature that we would want to have as if we were running these production environment greenhouse systems ourselves, which is very possible in the future when legislation allows so.
And so your smart app basically automates the entire process of running the greenhouse, correct?
Yes, and gives you control over, literally every single aspect of that greenhouse system from any smartphone anywhere in the world, and it's infinitely expandable. And most importantly, and some of what we're working with Single Point on is we're finding out that in the retail environments out here where people actually are going to be making purchases, they are concerned about, hey, how long ago was this product grown, harvested, manufactured? So we've got that database capability already inherently built in to gather historical data, which will be very valuable to both the cultivator and to the dispensary and to the end users.
Well, Will, what needs to happen next to move this deal along?
Well, I think that simply tying the technologies together, we've had a lot of discussion about this, and Don alluded to it right there, is that this is about, a lot of this of what we're working together to do is make a great consumer product where we're making the consumer have that access to the data at their fingertips. So we're excited to roll that out.
Well, two extremely interesting companies, Single Point Incorporated, SING, Smart Cannabis Corporation, SCNA. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us. Fascinating discussion. Thanks for being part of it.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks for having us on.
And joining us on the phone now is Tom Djokovic. Tom's the CEO of XNX Incorporated, XS and X their stock symbol. Tom, welcome back to the program.
Great to be back, Don. Thanks.
Well, we haven't spoken to you yet in 2018, so I want to kind of get an idea from you what's going on new at the company. I've seen a couple of press releases. Why don't you fill us in?
Well, Don, I mean, the big news is the tax plan. The president's new tax plan. It offers businesses, because we do so much. We focus on commercial solar, primarily businesses, and we help them manage their energy needs. And these systems, when they invest in these systems now, the new tax plan allows them to monetize, to depreciate 100% of their investment in year one, and that's just a major benefit. I mean, we've already reached out to some of the customers we'd marketed to previously, and made them aware of these new benefits, and they're very excited about these possibilities and the added financial benefits that it offers them.
Well, there was some question as to whether the tax advantages of going solar were going to sunset to some degree. This kind of gives the industry another shot in the arm, wouldn't you say?
It really does. It really does, because they left the 30% federal tax credit alone, which is a major benefit for both residential and commercial, business solar and battery investments. And now with this added 100% depreciation, and believe it or not, even a lower tax rate helps them. Because obviously, if you're saving $25,000 a month in utility costs, and let's say you're not putting all that money back to work, well, your profits might increase a little bit, and now the government's going to tax those profits a little bit less. So that's a benefit as well. So we're very excited about it, and our customers, the people we're marketing to, they're also very excited about it.
It's interesting nowadays to hear you talk about solar, because you always say solar and storage or solar and battery. I mean, that's become a big part of the industry, hasn't it?
It really is, because the large publicly held utilities charge several different ways, and one of them is what's called a demand fee, and that demand fee can be 50% of a customer's bill. And solar alone, unless they're only open during the daylight hours, it can't manage that. So the energy storage systems come on board, plus other kinds of technologies we use to help regulate how power is used and when it's used. They come together, they all work together, and they really make a perfect blend of technologies to really effectively almost eliminate, in some instances, customers' bills.
A couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, of course, you started getting into the solar carport, solar truck port space, basically creating space for solar panels where it didn't exist before. How's that developed as an industry space over the last several years?
Oh, it's quite well. For us, it's going very well, and we've also begun to branch out, offering the solar carport installation as just simply the structure installation itself to other solar contractors, which is a benefit for us in our marketing capabilities. So, it's impossible for us to reach out and touch and market to every business out there and to get an audience with them. So, other businesses are effectively doing that. They're getting in front of people, they're selling projects, and then they're turning around and they're saying, geez, we don't know how to build these or put these in, and they're reaching out to us as a new source for them to be able to, for us to be able to put the structures in there. And then since we know so much about the electrical side of it, we're able to work with them, and it's a very good relationship, very good matchup.
Once again, the company is XNX Incorporated. XSNX is their stock symbol. Be sure and visit their website at xnx.com. Tom, you're always innovating in this industry. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Don. Have a good week.
Take care. We're going to play a little bit of musical chairs right now as we get our next guest here at the news desk. I think we're just about ready. Now joined by Mr. Riggs Eckelberry. He's the CEO of Origin Clear. OCLN's their stock symbol. Riggs, welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Now, the last time we spoke to you was by phone. You were in Miami at a Bitcoin convention, cryptocurrency convention. You were pretty excited. We've got some footage of the event while you're telling me about how exciting it was.
Well, it was crazy. I think there were about 5 Lamborghinis outside, and I heard a rumor that there was some kind of crazy strippers thing, which I never saw. And, it was this craziness that is developing. It's full roar now around the whole blockchain thing. Pretty amazing what's going on.
Well, when Lamborghinis show up, you know that the industry space has a measure of credibility. You kind of think of Comic-Con in San Diego. It used to be a bunch of guys selling comic books. Now it's a full blown out affair with their share of Lamborghinis.
Exactly.
But that's really the sign that things are starting to have credibility.
Exactly right. And in fact, we just heard yesterday that Japan's largest bank is engaging in a cryptocurrency activity. So that is meaningful.
Now, you've got a blockchain cryptocurrency announcement of your own. You were very careful last time we had you on to disclaim that they're not necessarily going to mean that, but I guess it does mean something. Tell us what you got going.
Yes. We have, as you know, Don, we are a technology company. We're inventors. We license our technology. And we looked at the potential for this blockchain concept to really revolutionize the water industry by creating smart contracts that would rapidly settle all these transactions and speed things up. Here's the problem. In just, 2030, that's
right.
12 years away, the world will have 40% more demand for water than there is supply, and half of the world's citizens will live in water-stressed areas. The water industry is a $1 trillion water industry worldwide, and it is absolutely interested in servicing that. These are very dedicated people,
right.
but they need better process,
Okay.
better ways to circulate the transactions. And we think that the whole blockchain coin thing, using very technical terms here,
Sure.
is a way to make it happen.
Well, I'm anticipating questions that are being asked by members of our audience right now. What is wrong with the current system that the blockchain system can fix for the water industry?
Okay, here's what's happened. You've had infrastructure falling apart, especially in the United States. Now people have to clean their own water. Well, they don't want to clean their own water, they outsource it.
Right.
Then the outsourcer that they pay needs to get paid. Then how do you measure what's been done? Some
Okay.
dude picks up water and takes it to the lab. There's a mix of practices, also currency issues, countries have restrictions. Nothing is done on the blockchain that isn't already being done in the world. It's just more efficient, more reliable, and we think there's opportunities there to create a much faster moving industry that benefits everyone, including us licensors who have a royalty request.
Now, do you have any concerns, because of course you're in the water industry, which is not a volatile industry. As you said, it takes 12 years for change to be effected, and you're moving now into the blockchain industry space, so to speak, which has been, at least in the last 60, 90 days, very volatile. Do you have any concerns about that as CEO?
Yes, well, first of all, we've retained a top-notch analytical group in London called the Coin Lab. They've been there, done that. They're helping us develop and architect this. We've also filed a patent for this.
Okay.
We're in this thing for the long run. We're not just going, hey,
Yeah.
this may take a long time. But let's remember that there are early adopters in every industry, and that's who we want to work with.
So you anticipate that, as I mentioned, the water industry does not move at the speed of sound, but whereas blockchain does. And so you're anticipating that merging the two, so to speak, is going to help drag the water industry, so to speak, into the 21st century?
Yeah, and these concerns, I mean, I really don't want to diss the water industry because they have public health concerns.
Of course.
And scalability, and these are legitimate concerns. But there are players like nonprofits who are willing to take a risk and start, and we think the nonprofits is a good place to start.
So how soon will all of this be implemented?
All right, well, as I say, we're architecting the system now. We are going to take weeks and months for it to happen. There'll be much more announcements forthcoming. People should go to waterchain.io and put in their name, and they'll get updates.
Now, people that are doing that, what kind of information can they find at waterchain.io?
At this time, it's not very fleshed out.
Okay.
Because the architecture step is happening in February, very soon. But there's adequate information about what the heck is this, what's the goal, what are we thinking of doing, how might capital be attracted to, because coins are about capital also, and that might help the water industry.
Well, now, Riggs, as CEO and in your business career, you've always had a reputation of being an early adopter of technology. Have you seen anything as exciting as this blockchain thing coming along?
I thought the internet was great.
Yeah.
And I lived through the .com. It was amazing. This is the internet with money, which is a whole other world.
The internet on steroids, so to speak.
Exactly.
Once again, Origin Clear, OCLN. More exciting things to come. Riggs, thanks so much.
It's my pleasure.
Well, we're going to talk about the party of discontent on this week's Money Wrap radio program. If you want to hear me rip somebody a new one, be sure and don't miss this program. If you want to find out what radio station to listen to it or listen online, go to moneywrap.com. Call us right now, toll free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449 for free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It is free, as is the call. Toll free, 888-259-4449. Be sure and visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our program this week. As always, we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.